In your opinion. Okay. I mean, I assumed as much. That's okay. I know some people can be real jerks about their opinion. Like, I think... Here we go. This is a random story. I've been kicking around trying to write this for my website, and I just haven't had a chance to, like, fully think it out and fully think out the thoughts, so you can be my guinea pig for this idea. And I learned something in marriage course. Like, so I'm Catholic. I'm Catholic, and one of the requirements of being married in the Catholic Church is that you have to take, like, a marriage course through the church. You can either take, like, 1-hour sessions over the course of multiple months, or you can do, like, a 1 full weekend session, 2 days. You're staying overnight at the church venue, learning some stuff. And, like, I thought, oh my god, this is gonna be the most boring waste of time thing. And I actually thought it was a really positive experience. Just learning about life and love and how Steph and I can be better partners as husband and wife. And the thing that stuck out to me was this lesson of never speak in absolutes. When you are talking to anyone, particularly like your spouse or significant other, don't use the term always, don't use the term never. And they say don't do that. Okay, this is the part where the game crashed last time. Let's see if it... And the problem with those words is that most of the time when you say always, it's not actually true, because the odds of someone always doing something every single time is like slim to none. People will do it a lot of time, maybe they do it almost all the time, but they never always do that thing. And on top of that, the words always and never... Hey, Games Revolution Inc., how are you? Hope all is well. That's actually funny, Games Rev. We're actually talking, like, wedding and marriage stuff, and I appreciate you sharing your story with me from last... Oh, man. I do not remember that explosion part. Totally fine as always. Great. So yes, don't use the words always, don't use the word never. Absolute language is generally not going to serve you well in life, just because, like, one, it's rarely ever true that something always happens, or someone always does something, or never does something. And just the words always and never are very combative in nature. So as soon as you say those words, people put their guard up, and then all of a sudden it's a fight. And so, like, I've been thinking about that. Like, it's stuck to me ever since, and when I talk to my wife and when I talk to other people, I try and avoid speaking in absolutes, because, like, I don't want to get into that type of predicament with, you know, anybody, really. And it got me thinking about, like, how I write about video games and how I talk about video games on the stream, and realized that there is a lot about, like, video game conversation that I don't like. Like, I don't participate in video game message boards. I don't chime in on Twitter threads with, like, just the general public, because a lot of people tend to speak in absolutes. It's, this game is the best, period. Nintendo is better than Sony. Sony's better than Microsoft. Microsoft is better than everybody. And, like, it's hard to have a conversation with anyone when they are just speaking in those terms, because, like, where do you go from there? It's like, no, it's not. And then all of us, like, there's nowhere to go for the conversation. And it's immediately combative. And some people get really energetic over it. They get combative, they fight, they argue, and all that stuff. And, like, it's just a really crappy way, I think, to engage in a hobby that's supposed to be entertainment. It's supposed to be fun. Yeah, some people get really mad about it, and I don't think it's worth it. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't have an opinion on stuff. Like, if you think Diablo 2 is better than Diablo 3, that's great. And I would love to hear the case for why you think Diablo 2 is better than Diablo 3. But you can do that without, like, being combative and hurting someone else's feelings. Especially if I happen to think Diablo 3 is better than Diablo 2. I think there's a way for people to have that conversation in a civil and healthy manner, and you don't necessarily have to convince me that you're right. And I don't necessarily have to convince you that I'm right. It's just a matter of having that conversation. Here's my point of view. Let me hear your point of view. And then it nets out where it nets out. Oh, man. Really? And so, yes, feel free to share your opinion. And generally speaking, try and avoid absolutes. At least that's how I am trying to live my life these days.